So it looks like the Clippers have made a decision in regards to, their point guard situation. And, all offseason, since they acquired, John Wall, it's been one of those situations where, Ty Lue was going back and forth who he wanted to be the starting point guard, who he thought the starting point guard should be. And it's been one of those situations where it's been kind of, Ty Lue was going back and forth because, the competition was high between Reggie Jackson and John Wall in regards to who should be the starting point guard because, Reggie has been playing the point guard for the Clippers for a little while now. And, John Wall comes in as, the type of player that everybody wants to see as the starting point guard because he is a starting point guard. And when he is playing at a high level, he is a top 5, top 10 point guard in the league. So, his point guard skills have always been good. And the fact that he's a natural point guard makes it a little bit more tougher to judge that because, you're asking a guy in Reggie Jackson who's really not a natural point guard to go out there and play that position because you're used to him playing it because he's been playing it the last season or two, and you're asking him to go out there and be something that he's not really when he's actually a two guard, when he's actually a number two where he plays a shooting guard role, and then you have a guy like John Wall who you believe is your starting point guard, but you haven't seen him play substantial or any real basketball in a long time, so it's kind of hard for you to really figure out what you can get out of him in that position. You don't want to push too hard because he's been going through injuries and a lot of things on and off the court in regards to basketball and everything like that. So you don't want to put too much responsibility on him, but at the same time you want him to really be your starting point guard because at some point it's like that's what you got him for. The guy can give you 19 and 10 a game. At least at one point he could. So I know now he could probably give you 15 and 8 at least, with the Clippers. So that's starting point guard numbers. That's solid numbers. And that's the type of numbers that the Clippers need to get over the hump. Because if they're healthy, they got offense everywhere and they got defense everywhere on the other side of the court. But sometimes if the games are close, the Clippers need somebody who can anchor the offense and, execute plays at a high level and get everybody in their spots. Because John Wall can do that because he's such a blur in regards to getting to the basket himself. He's such a threat of getting to the basket himself. It gives Kawhi and PG a lot of grounds to play with when John Wall's on the floor because it's going to make them way more dynamic in regards to their offense because they can go isolation with Kawhi or PG, or they can pretend like they're going to go isolation and kick the ball back out to John Wall and he slices right to the basket for an easy 2 points where they throw a defense off like that because John Wall's in the game. Whereas when Reggie Jackson's in the game, Reggie Jackson more or less like to take that 3, which he can knock down pretty decent, and being their point guard the last year or two, they're just used to his ways on the floor, and they're used to him, being on the floor with the guys because that's all they had at the point guard position in the last year or two. So, it was a tough decision for Ty Lue, but at the same time, Reggie Jackson ended up being the starter. This is Ty Lue's decision that Reggie Jackson ended up being the starter, for the Clippers. And at this point, John Wall will remain coming off the bench. And really, now that I think about it, I kind of figured it might actually go this way because I actually kind of, said it. I said, later on in the season, as the season progresses, I see Ty Lue end up probably making John Wall the starter at point guard, depending on his health and depending on how much he gains chemistry with the team and how well he gels with them on the court when he's out there, And I figure Reggie Jackson might be the starting point guard because Reggie Jackson, he was used to being a point guard for the Clippers. He's been one, like I said, here lately for the last couple seasons, especially last year. He ran the point a lot, when Kawhi and PG wasn't there, and he held it down fairly well, so you got to give him that. You got to award him that, and you got to, give him that feature. You got to give him that, and that's what Ty Lue did. He rewarded the guy who's been running it for a while, But even still, that can change at any point because Ty Lue is always quick to pull the trigger, on anybody and anything, at any point if he sees fit. So, don't get comfortable with this decision if you're a Clippers fan. It's just, it might be for the moment. It might not be all season. It might not be half a season. It just at any point in time, I feel like Ty Lue can, make another decision and, go with John Wall as a starting point guard. And if that's the case, that's fine because, like I said, John Wall is naturally a starting point guard and naturally Reggie is a 2. So, the process is, or the thought of the whole thing is to get, John Wall to that point, as a, starting point guard with the Clippers, because really that's what they got him for. They just really need him to get to a certain level, play at a certain level, and get comfortable to a certain level before they actually, throw him out there to the wolves like that. And I definitely respect that by the Clippers. So, understandably so. They definitely have, all the pieces to, go far. But the point guard has been one of their most important positions that they've been lacking in. Now, me personally, I think they need to get another big man because I don't know if Zubac and Moses Brown is really going to be able to help you get to that next level as them being your, starting center, backup center. I like, Zubac has been the starting center for the Clippers, but, that's the problem. Zubac has a lot of talent, but, me personally, I think that Zubac should be a little bit better of a big man. But we could talk about how much of a better big man he should be and all that, but regardless, this is where he is. He is the starting center for the Clippers, and, he's who they have and he's who they trust. So, you go with that guy who you trust and you just kind of, go there and see where it takes you. But at least they have the point guard position filled and they have somebody solidified there with John Wall between him and Reggie Jackson. Reggie will be starting, John Wall come off the bench, and then we'll see how it either changes during the season or maybe it might stay the same throughout the season, maybe into the postseason, who knows. But, hopefully at some point John Wall gets his feet under him and may be able to take over that position and let Reggie slide over to the 2. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.